From calling the outrage not real to saying people were upset for no reason, Daniel Cormier has fired back at all the feigned outrage online. He's not happy with everyone dragging Makhachev, and he's certainly not agreeing with cries of robbery after the result of UFC 284's main event. UFC champions Islam Makhachev and Alexander Volkanovski had a great competition, and in the end, it was the Aussie icon who came up short.
And still the undisputed UFC lightweight champion of the world.
This decision, by the way, was also unanimous, so no issue should be there, right? Wrong! The fight was pretty close, so close that both sides had strong cases to make regarding the rightful owner, which is the case with almost all high-profile matches. You're a fan, you know it, but there's one thing that doesn't always happen in all high-profile matches. In fact, if it started happening too much, it'd be very questionable for the future of the UFC. Many within the community felt that a new dual-division champion should have been crowned, and Makhachev's former teammate disagreed. The once double titleist said that Makhachev was landing a lot of damaging shots and that he won the fight fair and square.
Nice. Kind of a stumble from Islam, but it doesn't matter. Hit the ground all the same. So overhand left to a trip for Volkanovski on that one. And he's really picking up the pace now.
So all that feigned outrage online is unfair because it's not real. And there was no reason for people to be upset at the result of that fight because Makhachev won. So of course, Cormier had his back. Makhachev is known for his dominant wrestling style, and he went toe-to-toe with the featherweight kingpin in their 5-round classic. I mean, the dude's one of the best out there for a reason.
Makhachev trying to set up a submission here, DC.
Yep, and you know, these guys do combat sambo their entire lives, you know, so if you present an opportunity to get a sub, it's over. He'll go get it. There it is. He's got the arm.
And there's the tap.
Another big finish for Islam.
Why is it so hard to believe that he may have won fair and square like Cormier said? It's also highly possible that the guy's saying that as an expert of the game, not as the fighter's ex-teammate. He's so good that despite his willingness to engage, Makhachev still registered 4 official takedowns. But then he looked for his goal of finding a knockout win. As great as Volkanovski fought, and he did fight great,
Herzog standing by, giving Elkins every benefit of the doubt. Where's the horn? They go to the grounds. There it is.
no doubt Makhachev was just better, and we all saw that, didn't we? He fought for extended periods on his feet. Cormier said that for so long, people talked about it's wrestle or nothing for Makhachev, but that wasn't the case. It wasn't just wrestling or nothing for him, it was just wrestle if you could, and that should be the plan for any good wrestler. No big deal, but it was also stand and strike if you need to for him, and that's exactly what he was doing for a long period in that fight. So if he did win, he won because he deserved to, but that's what Cormier believes, and not everyone agrees with him, especially not Joe Rogan. He's reacted in stunned disbelief, actually. If you're making a list, you better add Rogan to it as one of the people who thought Volkanovski should have won. Perth, Australia has seen a lot this weekend, a lot of fight, an IV drip controversy, and many disagreements. We all agree that the fight was tremendous, and wow that it's over, but it shouldn't matter who won and who didn't because both the players gave their all.
Hit the ground all the same. So overhand left to a trip for Volkanovski on that one. And he's really picking up the pace now.
Of course, there's going to be just one winner, and the best part is that Volkanovski was the underdog. No one believed he stood a chance, but he surprised a lot of people by not just hanging with Makhachev, but making the fight extremely competitive and giving him a hard time.
Volkanovski heading him off on the pressure. Typical. Nice down. And he hurts him. Sits him down.
But Volkanovski put on such an impressive performance that many thought he should have won, including Joe Rogan. He wasn't in Australia to call the fight, but he was hosting a podcast, and as the clock counted down in the final minute of the fight, Rogan and his friends declared victory for Alexander the Great. This wasn't the case, but the heart wants what it wants, right? Rogan said all Alex had to do was not get submitted and stay on top, and he was the double champ, but no matter what, he's the GOAT, for him at least. He was so so adamant about calling him a goat that he just kept repeating the darn word. Like, we get it, Rogan, you're a fan. But he went on and on and on about how Alex beat Islam. He was chanting, what a fight, and how he effing beat him, man. He also pointed at Makhachev and said that he realized now that he's just lost 100%. He was screaming as they all waited for the decision that would have declared him a champ, which never came. Instead came the loud voice telling him that Islam had won. And then Rogan took off his headphones and dropped them on the table in stunned surprise. After a few minutes of silence, he spoke up and said they were all convinced. Not everyone was convinced, Joe, especially not the judges. But whatever floats your boat. In his eyes, it was 3-2, and the decision sucked. He also asked everyone to listen to the crowd and how one of those scorecards was crazy. He couldn't believe Alex had lost that fight, and went on to say that he didn't believe they scored it legitimately. Of course, he had to go there, no? He also said that the audience agreed with what he said. Rogan continued to say that he doesn't want to be disrespectful and that he's one of the biggest Islam jock riders ever, and that he always says Islam is the guy everyone's avoiding. This was a difficult fight, but he should have lost, and he's 100% convinced of that. After watching the fight, even Volkanovski agrees with him, and many other pros agree with them too. Until he saw him square off with Makhachev in the octagon, like I said, no one believed that was going to be the case. Lerone Murphy noticed that Alex was looking good in the fight. Alexander Rakic commented on the calmness of Islam. This is something we all noticed, to be honest. The guy looked like he was there to win and nothing was going to stop him. Not even the screams of Joe Rogan. Mirab the Machine was all praises for Volk, saying that he didn't expect a great fight like this. No one did. The underdog, remember? He proved he can give a tough time to anyone in front of him, even if it was someone like Islam.
Seems like we've seen a change in strategy for Dober, trying to get offensive here off of his back.
Look at the shoulder pressure, though. Look at Dober's face.
Islam Makhachev submits Drew Dober.
Mike Thomas Brown was pretty impressed by Volk's cardio. Strange thing to notice, sure, when there's so many tricks in front of you, but here we go. That's why he's a trainer and we're just commenting on them. Megan Anderson was also all praises for Alex, and so was the case with Andre Fili, who called the fight a heroic effort. Charles Rosa and Jeremy Stevens were also Team Volk on Twitter, and then there was Sam Alvey, who straight up said they did Volk dirty. Guess he's also Team Joe Rogan then, huh? Looking at all these tweets, it looks like a lot of people were Team Volk, but then some were Team Islam. Wonderboy said on Twitter that he's interested to see how strong Volk is compared to Islam. He says he's strong, sure, and he's seen it, but he hasn't seen him with someone with the caliber of Islam, and it turned out to be true. Even the thug Jitsu master on Twitter chimed in during the match and said that he didn't believe Volk had a real chance. While Jimmy Manua was just happy watching both the champions fight against each other. That's all I've got on Daniel Cormier firing back at the feigned outrage online after UFC 284.